Hello.
Kia ora koutou whānau. Hey man, how are you?
I am stuffed full of fried chicken and kind of sleepy.
Ooh, I you know what I have for dinner tonight?
What's that?
I had here's a little tip for people if you're looking for like a good burger. Tegel do a frozen product now.
Oh,
and,
welcome.
And you think about it. Yeah, you think about it and you think, no, a pre-cooked chicken, you know.
No.
But they're called like Nashville and Louisiana and all these things. And they're obviously being somewhat fried, probably oven baked, pre-cooked. You get them. And honestly, at the moment, probably 2 to 3 times a week, we make homemade gourmet chicken burgers using Tegel, not sponsored by the way, Tegel, using these chicken products from Tegel, and they're freaking amazing. And so tonight, you know, because you can go out into your local town and spend what, $15-$18 on a gourmet burger. And tonight I had I call it fakin because of the dietary plan I'm on at the moment. It's chicken rashers. It's actually I think it might be a Tegel product as well. They call it chicken bacon. It's actually chicken just cut in a way that you can fry it like bacon. So I call it fakin. So fake bacon. I had fakin. I had a fried egg. I had one of these chicken patties. I had aioli. I had lettuce. I had cheese in a sourdough bun. It was as good as any gourmet burger you can buy pretty much anywhere in Dunedin. Honestly, amazing. And then you just throw a few cut potatoes in there and you've got a gourmet chicken burger and wedges. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that stuff's legit. If you want to chuck it in the air fryer, it's perfect. But where I was, I don't know if you've tried it. Have you tried Cum's First Chicken, Lower Steer Street?
Did you just say Cum's First Chicken?
I did say it. I'm not a fan of the name, but I am a fan of their chicken.
So you like chicken from Cum chicken?
Oh, you had to take it there.
Chicken
Cum? It's a local chicken joint, but they're closing this weekend because their landlord's a dickhead.
Oh.
So he's massively put their rent up. So I urge you to go and have a look tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I urge our listeners in Dunedin to also do the same because they rule. They're really, really good.
What are they called?
And I'm sad that they're gone.
I just think if I look up Cum on my thing, I'll get all the
Cum's
things.
First, COMES. You reprobate.
Oh, pardon me.
CFC chicken.
Right, hang on.
Because or CFC.
If you're going to tell people to do it, then look. I mean, like fair play. That looks better than mine. Yeah, that looks better than mine. Mine was pretty tasty. In fact, I took a photo of mine because
I'm pretty sure their chicken wings actually come from dinosaurs. They're enormous.
Come from the Lord, I thought you were going to say. I'm not gonna. I have to actually go into my, because it sounds really weird because about the people who take photos and stuff. But I've got nieces and nephews coming down for Christmas to stay and going to stay with me. Their parents are going and getting Airbnb and they're staying with me. And one of them told me the other day, "Oh, I like burgers and chips," and so this is what I made tonight. And I'll send it to you. So that was my dinner tonight. Not because I take photos of stuff, because it doesn't look quite as good, but it was freaking awesome. So it was good. So that's those patties in there as well, and. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, all right. So maybe I'll take the kids there for lunch or something tomorrow. I used to drive between Auckland and Northland a lot. Had a batch up in Mangawhai Heads, and
look at it.
Look at that. And it was either, I think it was in, let me just think about it, Warkworth, Wellsford. I think it was in Wellsford. There was a place where you buy plants from, a nursery on the right-hand side with a big roof. And as you drove past, in big, massive print on their roof, it says all our plants are well rooted. And so, of course, there's a 10-year-old with a 12, 13-year-old sister. You walk past, go, and every time mum and dad are like, "What are you guys laughing at? What's so funny? What are you laughing at?" So I'm sure going to Cum's First Diner with my two tomorrow. there will be much mirth, and they won't want to confirm or deny as to why it's hilariously funny. It is weird, mate, when you've got young, if you still think about your kids as, little, and they start they hear the word 69 and start laughing, and you're like, good Lord, this should be about another 10 years away, shouldn't it? Look, seeing you brought up Dunedin, I'd like to just say something, and I'd like to ask you about this because I think I saw you talking about it. Here in Dunedin, we have quite a big development going on our main street, and
I'm glad you brought this up.
And the first thing I want to say is these DCC mayoralty candidates and councillors who prior to the election were we're going to turn this around, we're not going to allow this, we're going to change it back, we want cars in George Street, who are now all going, oh, this is nice, isn't it? I'm a little bit kind of
Brett Weatherall, the local business owner in that block, who has been a bane of the previous council's life over this development. It's not good enough. You can't take cars out of there. Rowdy, rah. He was in the paper today going, oh, it's actually pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. This is the article.
And a little fact that I found, there is one more car park in that block than there was when it was a two-way. So all of this moaning about parking, there's one extra park in there. But when I finished work and I walked through that this afternoon, there were people sitting all through that area, sitting on the seats in the sun, talking, having coffee, whatever, catching up after work. It was brilliant.
Yeah, cool.
And the whole time I looked at that article and I saw the Mayor Radich, who wanted to rip it up and make it two-way again, but back down because that's crazy. And Brent Weatherall saying, oh, look, it's brilliant. And there isn't even a single mention of the previous mayor who copped so much flack over this.
Yeah, who drove it, sort of thing. He didn't drive, but he drove that. It was, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been going on. The planning for this has been going on for literally a decade. But Mayor Hawkins copped all of the flack in the last term because it was just something else people wanted to have a go at him over. And it's got, and I bet there's going to be more stuff like this that have come out and will go, oh yeah, this was always going to be really good, and I've always been a big supporter of it. And I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I actually thought what I would do is, and I'm not 100% sure, because when I did my mayoralty conversations, I was like, the pedestrianisation of George Street was one of my, and I can't actually remember what Radich said, the new mayor, but I'm going to go and have a look, and I'm going to cut that out. And for Dunedin people who might be interested, I'm going to definitely post it and see what he had to say about that, because get fucked if you're going to take kind of credit for something that you were against and was one of the reasons that and look, I mean, a fair election, no qualms about that, but with the sort of thing that people then used as ammunition in their weapons to fire against the previous mayor. You don't get to criticize and then go, oh yes, I'm so proud of this as the mayor, if that's what he said. Well, I'll go and find out and figure it out. So if you're in Dunedin, make sure you follow us on Twitter, or on even the YouTube channel would be good, because then when I put it up, which will probably be this weekend, you can have a bit of a look at it. So, yes, let us, before we start, just remind people, and I want to say hello to, give me a second, hello to, had a patron join up today. Things are taking a while. Hello to Susan. Susan, who joined up as a patron today, part of our Patreon plan. Next Saturday, so 8 days from now, we'll have our second monthly catch-up. If anyone's a patron, you get a chance to come and join us probably Saturday morning. We typically do it, we've only done one, but last time I think we did it at like 11 in the morning, which was quite good for people who are in the UK. We had a couple of people from America joining in who are patrons, like what we do. So it kind of was a pretty good time for everybody, sort of 10 or 11 in the morning. And at some stage, maybe next year, there are levels of patrons where the Q&A, the live Q&As, which I see is here, can you see that? That's under $35 a month, actually kick in. But because we appreciate you all so very, very much, we're just going to make them open to anyone who's a patron. So whether you're a $5 patron or all those people sitting there right now who want to be $250 patrons, then the Q&As, the kind of gatherings will be open up to everybody for the foreseeable future, just because, we appreciate you guys.
And Pat, do we have an $8 tier that we can call the blue tick tier?
Oh, okay. I'll be doing that this weekend. That's a very good idea.
Just saying.
Yeah,
Well, the special.
Yeah, okay,
So
good
don't
idea.
spend your money. Don't give a billionaire your $8. Give it to us. Give it to us.
Right, that's called Las Segue.
Oh, so good.
Here is a story of CNN today. Oh, now Chewy, I've been having trouble with my audio, so tell me straight away. Can you hear this?
What do former President Trump?
You can hear that? Okay, well, let's go back to the start and let's play for me, because if you can hear it, you hear it downstream out. That means everybody can hear it. And the blue tick special, that's a great idea. All right, here we go.
What do former President Trump and basketball star LeBron James have in common? Well, just hours after Twitter launched its new paid verification system, fake accounts using their names and likeness popped up. And we just learned the company's cybersecurity chief called it quits. Let's get to CNN's Donny O'Sullivan now. So, Donny, that
no shit.
Long. How easy is it to create a fake Twitter account and make it look real under this new system?
Yeah, things are getting really messy and really confusing on Twitter right now, Anna. In the past 24 hours or so, we have seen so many fake accounts pop up pretending to be people, pretending to be very famous people, and getting that blue verified check mark. For years, that mark has meant that is the real person. We know this person says who they say they are. So what's been going on? I want to show you a few of the fake accounts that have popped up. A fake account for Nintendo, the video game company, showed Mario there, their iconic figure, giving the finger. We have we have blurred it because it's offensive, I guess. Also, we saw somebody set up a fake Donald Trump account. This person, Brian Whelan, saying he was able to verify a fake Donald Trump account in less than 2 beers, but really just getting at the point there that he was able to do this quite quickly. And finally, just over the past day or so, Twitter has given a blue check verified mark to Jesus Christ with the handle there @Jesus. So as you can see, things are getting a bit confusing at Twitter under Elon Musk, Anna.
Yeah, we're kind of joking about this, but there could be serious consequences to these fake accounts.
Well, absolutely. So you see how easy it was to make those accounts. Think about, in terms of emergencies and natural disasters, even politics, calling elections. We rely so much on Twitter accounts, whether it's in disasters, to get information from emergency services, or on election night, or even during an election campaign. I mean, think how easy it is going to be for somebody to spin up an account to make it look like it's belonging to a campaign or something official or is affiliated. We even saw with that Trump account. So look, there's serious consequences could come of all of this. We have seen pretty much everything Musk has brought in at the company. They've talked about changing again. So this might all change by the end of the day, by the end of the week. But it is kind of causing a bit of unnecessary chaos on the platform, Anna.
And it just makes you wonder, how does this platform survive all this? Donny O'Sullivan.
Right. So just before we go into that in any great entirety, let me just, for some, there's just a quick thing that's just popped up. There's an $8 level on Patreon at the moment, and it's called the "Fuck You Elon" level. So that just popped up from somewhere, and
crazy.
And if you join it, then you're more than welcome to share around "Fuck You Elon." And if you want to do it, then you can. It's there and it's waiting. And if you want to be involved, go to patreon.com/big hairy news. And I mean, it's been something I've been thinking about for quite a while there, Chewy. And even though there's no graphics or anything on it, I'm sure they will fix themselves up by the end of the weekend. It just must be a technical glitch. I don't know. It's been long in the planning, but just a technical glitch. So an $8 per month tier on it now. So if you're going to put your $8 a week somewhere, you might as well put it to somewhere good, and rather than somewhere horrible.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know if you've done this on purpose, but Peter's certainly spotted it there. The acronym is FUEL.
Fuck you, Elon Musk. Oh, so that's the fuel level.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there'll be the coffee run out, and that'll be the fuel level.
Yeah. And
I mean, sorry.
Verified by
Yeah, but just tell Peter. I mean, Peter, that was already the plan. It's just
Oh,
there's a technical
100%.
glitch.
Yeah,
There's a
you're the
technical
first person to
glitch.
spot it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, yeah, the technical glitch.
I've seen a couple of those verified accounts pop up today. I think the weirdest interaction was the official verified George Bush account wistfully going, I really miss killing Iraqis. And then having the official verified. Who was the British Prime Minister at that time?
It wasn't Gordon. Tony Blair?
Tony Blair, the official verified Tony Blair account going, same, bro.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Let's
this
have
is
a look.
working very well, and Elon's definitely a genius.
Well, the thing is, right, so here's the Jesus Christ character. I follow Jesus because it's actually quite a funny account. Do you follow Jesus?
No, I follow God.
Chewy. Oh, is it Chewy? Look, I just want to speak quietly and softly to you. Are you a follower of Jesus Christ?
Hey, man, I just want to rap to you kids about Jesus for a little bit.
But he's hilarious. And so this was one of his first tweets today. Who was 2 thumbs unverified? And then he put up the same. I'm saying he because Jesus is a man. And then he put up the same story we just played, and he said, "Why the assumption? I am fake." And so it went on and on and on and on and on. But look, I said this a week ago, right? This is a tweet that I put out a week ago. When Elon Musk starts to charge for the blue tick, it will become an embarrassment to have one because it will then become something that anyone can have, as opposed to those who need a reason to be verified. It'll just be a form of clout chasing. What it's actually becoming is right wingers going, ha. And I'll give you an example of it. Here is Libs of TikTok, who got their $8 blue check mark now, and say, I was suspended 8 times and now I'm here and verified. This $8 investment, which infuriates the libs, continues to be a source of great satisfaction, worth every penny.
Jesus.
Thank you, Elon Musk. So that's what it will become. It will become, if it's not become this already, actually an indication of a MAGA type right wing. It'll be like a identifier, because who the fuck wants one now? Like, no one sensible wants one. No one with an ounce of intelligence want one. Trolls will want them, and fake accounts will want them to look real. But then again, that's also a business model. If all the right wingers get them, that'll be a lot of money for Elon Musk.
Yeah. So what I love is that they're having to add now a second tier of verification. So you can pay for the blue tack, right? And now they're having to come in and go under that. We've got a process where we can verify you as official as well. So what the fuck was the point of the blue tick?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's just like these guys that hold Elon up as some sort of genius. He's brain farted his way through this. He's now settled with this huge amount of money that he's paid for this thing that's worth not even half that. And he's scrambling around going, oh, we're going to do this. And people go, okay, that's cool, man. Well, I'm out. And the advertisers are doing the same thing. And he goes, no. Okay, I take that back. We'll do something else. And then people are just jumping on it and going, well, that's easily exploitable. And I'm going to fucking run rampant through this. It just seems to be someone that is bought something and is just trying to react on the fly without really knowing what he's doing. He sacked everybody that does, and now he's going cap in hand going, oh, maybe it was a little bit too harsh on that. Would you like to come back? And they're going, get fucked or give me more money. Or give me more money and get fucked.
So that's the other thing he's done. It's he sacked half the staff, and now he's made the verification system have to be more heavily manned. Because if it's not manned more heavily, then the LeBron James accounts and there was a Rudy Giuliani one. I heard them talking about Rudy Giuliani one saying offensive things. I mean, are you sure that was a fake one? I'm not entirely sure about that.
Who knows the Giuliani?
Yeah, exactly.
But
he's just given his staff a huge amount of work at the same time as cutting the staff by half.
Yeah, I can tell you, I have requested a review of my suspended account.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what happens. Because if they're letting libs of TikTok on there, then come on, me telling Leo Malloy that he can get in a sandwich bag. And
I was thinking about what it is. It sounds like what they're trying to say Have you got a late night booty call coming in there or something, bro?
Oh, I should turn that off, shouldn't I?
What it sounds like, what it is. I mean, I don't think there is necessarily a justification for it. It seemed to be working fine before. But what it seems like what it is some people are saying what it's going to do is it's going to be used as a signifier of real people and not trolls. But look, I've got they call them a captcha thing on your account, on your contact form so that stops robots. I still get a ton of fake bot messages coming through because they can work it out. So it's not going to do that. So now you're going to have a blue check mark to prove you're a real person and not a troll. And then maybe a red check mark if you're of high profile and people want to know who the real people are. Because you can also be, it's not really necessarily going to be the problem with the, the fake Donald Trump ones, but it might be a problem with the fake, I don't know, person who lives in Auckland who owns a bar. You know what I mean? Or and they just want to start ranting racist things. It's a lot more difficult for Bob from Bob's Emporium of Alcohol to get up to the top of Twitter and say, "Hey, this is not me," as opposed to Bob getting verified because he needs to be verified. So I think that all the stories at the moment, I don't know if they're in jest, but are obviously about, look at all these famous names coming up that are fake. But what about what comes next, which is, all the real world people who aren't famous names who are going to get fake accounts, blue check mark, and how much more difficult it will get for them to get them taken down? Because when CNN says, "Hey, this LeBron James account is fake," then Twitter goes, but when Jim from Papa Toy Toy says, "Hey, my account's fake," it's like, okay, well, you can get to the back of the other 1,000 complaints we've got. I think it's just, I don't know. I mean, I also think, whether you love him or hate him or whatever, I really do wonder what the you've got a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders in the company, right? I really do wonder about the shareholders who have Tesla stocks, having the owner and CEO shooting off to another company and spending all his time there, is actually doing when it comes to rules around running a company and stuff as well. So it's a complete nightmare. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Twitter was a particularly clever and good place before. But it is something quite impressive to see it become a lot worse at the hands of one person.
Dramatically so. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, less and less in the last week. But I mean, the amount of people that Elon buying it gave oxygen to, which is some of the worst people out there. Like we had Philip Arps, the Nazi from Christchurch. He created a couple of accounts that are gone now. But those sort of people feel emboldened that Elon's, in the name of free speech, it's open slather, and those are the accounts that are coming out, and the other accounts are like, well, fuck this, I'm out. And I mean, certainly I've created an account on Mastodon, and that's been really interesting to see that happen just in the very small, I guess, New Zealand Twitter sphere sort of thing. I was talking to an admin of one of the New Zealand Mastodon servers, and they said we went from 500 active users to I think it's about 6,000 in 4 days.
Wow.
And the way that Mastodon works is it's all very local, like it's run off individual servers with an admin team. So it's quite different. But to see that exodus of people going, cool, it could be a joke, but I'm just going to create something just in case this really does go.
Because look, I think it's a little bit like all those people are going, I'm going to leave America if Trump wins, and none of them basically did. Or let's say of the 1,000 people who said it, one of them actually left America. Look, Twitter is the marketplace. Twitter is the place where people are going to stay. I think there'll be a lot of stamping of feet in that, but really, I don't think there'll be a huge drop off. There might be people, like you're suggesting, about having a Mastodon account as well, but I don't know about people just leaving. Because the thing about Twitter, right, is that within Twitter, that's where the other people are. If you go join a place that's currently little, it's cool. I mean, because that's how you grow something. Great, let's do that. But also, you won't leave Twitter because then you've left, the marketplace. You're not going to leave the major marketplace with all the activity and go off to the side street where there's two people. I mean, you know, but you may do both. But I don't think most people will trade one for the other. Most people, some will, but most won't.
It's certainly interesting. Like Mastodon's got a completely different vibe, and each server you go to has its own sort of little vibe. But what I've got going on Twitter now is basically a cross post from Mastodon. So the posts that I make there go to Twitter. The posts that I make on Twitter don't go to Mastodon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I found this graph, and this is just for one of the Mastodon servers. You see the uptick there of almost no users, just like this one, something around Bitcoin or whatever. But very low active users, and then every time that there's been something with Elon and Twitter, there's the big jump, and then the layoffs when they happened. That's when everyone was creating Mastodon accounts. So,
Right.
and that's very much what I've seen in the New Zealand one. It's interesting. It's a garbage fire. I think some people are there for the party, end of days party, and other people are just like, nah, I don't want to encourage this.
Yes, we shall see. A few comments that have been coming in, and let's throw a couple of them. What does Rob say? Rob says, surely one of the benefits of that tier should be that patrons are officially verified by BHN. Yeah, maybe we'll call it. See, I feel like I've got to call it the blue tick, but I think we'll call it the red tick because BHN is red. The logo up over there that way by Chewy, above Chewy. I don't know, red tick, blue tick. Maybe I'll design something over this weekend, and people who join that tier will get a. We'll get
it's twice as good as Elon's.
Yeah,
tick.
double blue
There's
tick.
2 of them.
So maybe I'll do that.
Twice as blue and twice as ticky.
Yep.
Then we win.
Yeah, and then if I
at
send
$8,
if you join that level, I'll send it to you, and then you can put it up as your image for when you interact with us, so we know who
we'll just
the
print
double
it
blue
out.
tick
We'll
is.
just send it to you.
Roy wants to know if Elon's blocked me yet. No, well, I only just did it. So Roy also wants to know, it's ISIS free. Oh fuck, now I'm on a watch list.
I did have a quick look for that, and at Taliban. Taliban actually exists.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You mean it exists as it's available, or it exists as it's an account?
No, it's an active account, but it seems to be some sort of Chinese scam account.
And finally, Ro also says a blue tick is slightly better than a white pointy hat, which is pretty succinct, I guess, in some ways. Yes, all right. Hey, let's have a look at the MEGA-MAGA-Meltdown and Donald Trump over the last 48 hours. It is actually quite interesting to see what's going on in America. I'm enjoying it immensely. I wanted to show you a little bit of footage of things happening. We showed a bit of Herschel Walker the other night, but I thought just so you're clear, and I think this is actually from Jimmy Kimmel's show, so hopefully we won't get a bit of Jimmy Kimmel talking at the end of this. But just so we're clear, if you want to know who Herschel Walker is, this is the guy that the likely scenario, although I did the numbers today, there is a chance that the Democrats could win both Nevada and Arizona. It's not as likely, but there is it's 60-40. It's not like a 90-10. But the likely scenario is this is the guy that the Republicans are going to have to get behind to win the Senate. So this is the level they will stoop to for power, any means to an end. Let me give you a little bit of the, the acceptance speeches, the wrapping up speech of what must be described as a great Republican orator.
He put this negative kid in his room, nothing but brand new toys. But he put this positive kid in his room, nothing but horse manure. And after an hour or so, he looked in on this negative kid and he was complaining, I don't want this, I want that. But he looks in on the kid that's in the room with the horse manure. He got a shovel.
Are you getting
He's
this?
shoving his horse manure over his shoulder. He's laughing and singing and having a good time. Little boys, Dad, as much horse manure as there is in this room, there must be a pony at the bottom of it. And the reason I'm telling you that right now, guys, we got a pony at the end of this right here. I can tell you this right now.
They've got a pony at the end of this.
Well, I would
covered in
follow
horse
that
manure.
man into hell itself. That was inspiring.
How about this? This is actually, as you can see, it's a Jimmy Kimmel show, but the clip's not Jimmy Kimmel. It's Jimmy Kimmel cutting together commentary about Trump being a loser on election night. So have a listen to what some of the commentators had to say.
What I can tell you is the biggest loser tonight is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump was the big loser.
This man is a loser.
He's the biggest loser in American politics.
Big losers are going to be Donald Trump.
Trump is not
a national winner.
This is a resounding loss for him.
Well, not only is Donald Trump the loser, we already heard John Carl say that Donald Trump was the biggest loser of the night. Do you agree?
Oh, there's no question.
No, that was interesting because that was Chris Christie, right? Republican governor and supporter of Donald Trump during the election.
Trump was the biggest loser last night. I know he hates hearing that.
Biggest loser tonight. That's on Fox News Digital talking about that.
Yeah, Donald Trump is the biggest loser.
Now, you might look at that and think, oh, I saw a whole bunch of liberal cucks kind of throwing shade at the former president. Well, there's more. There's more, because it's far more than just the liberal commentators. This is from Inside Edition, New York Post, Trumpty Dumpty. Some commentary in here from several Republicans about him having that the election night being a terrible indication for the popularity of the president.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us.
Sorry, former president.
Has the political reign of Donald Trump come to an end? It's a fair question, since the once unwavering support of conservative media outlets appears to have vanished. Les Trent explains.
Donald Trump is fighting back today as his former allies gang up on him. This is the front page of today's New York Post. It's going viral today with its depiction of Trump as Humpty Dumpty. Dawn, who couldn't build a wall, had a great fall.
The New York Post is now turning on him. Fox will be next.
Some see it as a direct attack from media tycoon Rupert Murdoch, who owns the New York Post and Fox News. Even Laura Ingraham appears to be turning on Trump.
If the voters conclude that you're putting your own ego or your own grudges ahead of what's good for the country, they're going to look elsewhere, period.
Republican bigwig Newt Gingrich is putting his money on Ron DeSantis.
He will almost certainly become the rallying point for everybody in the Republican Party who wants to move beyond President Trump.
Trump's former press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, is now urging him to postpone next week's expected announcement that he'll run for president in 2024.
I think he needs to put it on pause. Absolutely. Look, he'll make that decision. He'll make his own decision, but no one announces 2024 until we get through December 6th.
That's
now, just for clarity about what that is for people who don't know. Trump has said that next Tuesday he will be making a big announcement, a big chicken fried announcement, a big Cheeto flavored orangutan announcement, and everyone's going, he's announcing for president. Now, Republicans are saying that he shouldn't do that because then the runoff.
Give a fuck what they think.
Exactly, but then the runoff for Georgia becomes basically, do you want Trump to have control? It basically becomes a referendum on Trump. Now, if Trump was beloved and popular and a winning formula, then of course they'd want him involved. But they don't want it to be a referendum on Trump because they know that Trump is a losing ticket. Let's just play the end of this.
It's the date of the all-important runoff in Georgia that could determine who controls the U.S. Senate. The late-night comics are also piling on Trump.
They say the last time Trump was this disappointed was when Eric was born.
Trump is reportedly furious, blaming the midterm fiasco on wife Melania and Fox News host Sean Hannity.
He was very angry. The focal point of his anger was the Oz race in particular, because that was not a natural fit for him, and he was convinced to do it.
Today, Trump posted this on Truth Social. I'd like to apologize to Melania and Sean Hannity for all the fake news and fictional stories. I am not at all angry. Remember, I am
writing the word angry.
I'm not angry. I haven't got a full diaper.
And he's quoting himself there. I am a stable genius. He said stable genius, so he's quoting himself. And it's a famously known fact that if you are someone who is a genius, you often have to go remind people that you are a genius. Now, what he probably should have said is, remember, I am the most thin-skinned man on the face of the planet. But no, apparently a stable genius.
I'm a stable genius.
Now, I just want to play one other thing, Chewy, because we just watched that clip with Kayleigh McEnany, but actually it was worse than that. They played a short clip where Kayleigh McEnany, who was his former advisor and press secretary, said that she was couching her bets a little bit. Is that the right way to say it? that she didn't say they shouldn't say Trump shouldn't announce. She was saying no one should announce, meaning Trump shouldn't announce. But then what happened is she was asked on Fox News about should Trump go to Georgia. Again, should Trump go to Georgia, support Herschel Walker, help Herschel Walker win? Guess what Kayleigh McEnany said about that? Here, let me play it for you.
And that could go straight through the state of Georgia on December 6th.
Does that include Trump?
I think he needs to put it on pause. Absolutely. Look, he'll make that decision. He'll make his own decision. But
does he go to
if
Georgia?
I'm advising any contender, DeSantis, Trump, whomever, no one announces 2024 until we get through December 6th.
Do you see the former president a need for him to go to Georgia?
I think we've got to make strategic calculations. Governor DeSantis, I think he should be welcome to the state, given what happened last night. You've got to look. You got to look at the realities on the ground. And Herschel Walker, we've got to win the Senate. That's it, guys. Got to win the Senate.
So she said DeSantis should go to Georgia. She didn't actively say Trump shouldn't, but she didn't say that Trump should. So she basically said that Trump shouldn't go to Georgia, but DeSantis should. How do you think that's going to stick in Trump's craw? And do you think that's going to make him more or less likely to announce next Tuesday to stick it up everyone? We want him to announce. We want him to announce. That'd be the best thing for all of us.
I mean, this is giving me PTSD to the last bloody election. When people were going, oh, Trump should do this because it's hilarious and he'll never get in and all of this sort of stuff. You just don't know. And, he is a chaos magnet. Like the same sort of thing. If he runs again, he will hoover up all of the news coverage again. Because he gets clicks, he gets eyeballs, and that's all he cares about. This is just another reality show for him.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. This is what the Republican establishment did in 2014, 2015. Trump won't be president. Trump won't be the nominee. No one's going to get behind Trump. Trump's not going to do it. And then Trump got the base behind him. And as you say, got all the television time. And then they all had to get in lockstep and become Trump supporter. So embarrassing. I will never forget things like photos of, what's his name? Ted Cruz. Remember, he accused Ted Cruz's father of killing JFK. He called his wife ugly. He then beat him within an inch of his life, in the primaries. And then there was that famous photo of Ted Cruz doing phone banking for Donald Trump, looking like the most dejected, depressed person on the face of the planet. I said last night and the night before, right? Two things. The first is the Democrats have to stop all this, woohoo, there's no red wave, woohoo, there's no red wave, because they're still probably going to win the Congress. And if they win the Senate, it doesn't actually matter that there was no red wave. They've got control of 2/3 of government. And then Biden becomes a lame duck president for 2 years. So I would urge Democrats again to just cool your jets. All those political, even Joe Biden is doing sort of a lap of honor going, Yahoo, what a great result. You could still lose. And because you're such a sporting person, Chewy, I think I said this last night, you'll get it though. The worst team in the world plays the best team in the world. The worst team outperforms themselves like they've never played before and still loses by 1 run. It's a great performance by the worst team, but the best team in the world still wins. Democrats overperform and they don't see a red wave and they don't see a swing of 60 or 70 seats, but they're down by 1 seat. It's still a loss. That's the first thing. And the second thing is Donald Trump went through all of this in the lead up to 2016. The whole establishment said he wouldn't be the nominee. He won't be in. He won't be there. I would just heed caution again to people to think. I mean, I think that it's been a terrible 48 hours for Donald Trump. But when it comes to primary season, if he gets that wave behind him, that dusty white wave behind him of MAGA supporters, he could easily be the nominee again, no matter what people are saying. And then if that's the case, Murdoch will be behind him. Gingrich will be behind him. All these people speaking will be behind him, and they'll be saying what a fantastically good Christian nominee he is. And he is the one to move forward.
Don't look at my statements 3 months ago, because I've always been a firm believer in Donald Trump. Like the absolute spineless, lick-spittle, boot-licking simps that they turn into as
Lick-spittle like that.
Oh, it's a good one. I'm bringing
Saving
it
that
back.
Lady Power, who my favorite name of anyone who ever watches this. Lady Power. He won't pause the announcement. No, I don't think so either.
No.
I think he thinks it will stop investigations as a potential candidate. Yep. No. I think that's one of the reasons he's doing it as well. And Jack Johnson, I love your song Flake, by the way, Jack. I'm a big fan. Actually, this is, I don't know if DeSantis has got no chance, sorry, but I mean, that's what, as we've just said, that's what everyone was saying in 2015, that Trump had no chance. And he not only took the GOP nominee, but the whole damn thing. And I'll say this again, which I've said a couple of times. If the Democrats run Biden, then it doesn't matter, almost doesn't matter who GOP run, GOP win. So, in my opinion.
Look, it's not a high bar to clear. If you're going to put a candidate forward, does he have to wear diapers? Was he around when dinosaurs roamed the earth? Is it a desiccated skeleton you've bought in a Halloween shop? Yeah. Just do better. Just pick someone with relevant work experience that was still of working age. This millennium would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not my country. We're all just hoping that when America finally folds, that it doesn't turn into a huge fucking unplugged bathtub sucking noise for the rest of the world.
All right, let's move on. I would like to, there you go, desiccated skeleton, 2024.
Those giant 20-foot plastic skeletons that seem to be all the rage over in America. Run that.
Pretty much, I think every night this week, we've talked on the show here about an aspect of the Reid Research poll with Newshub TV3 that came out, was it Sunday night? Monday night, yes. Either Sunday or Monday.
Yeah.
And then each night they have released something else. So they've obviously done a lot of research, and then they've spanned it out all this week, and they've released a little bit more each time. Now, it might surprise you, but we've been quite critical of the aspect and angle that Newshub has been putting out there. Not necessarily the numbers. The numbers are, I mean, like normally, depending on how you ask the question, but if they're pure numbers are just numbers. No criticism of the numbers, but it has felt very much like Newshub has had an angle to this. And what has been happening is Newshub the night before has been reporting in a way of an emotive way, using emotive terms like it's the worst night in the world, it's terrible, you know, for labor and all this. And then the next morning on the AM show, they pick up on it and they continue that on. I'll give you an example of what we talked about earlier shortly, but I found it interesting today to see that an academic out of Massey University has actually been writing about this as well. So we're going to have a look at this. Newshub biased poll reporting from Massey University. Associate Professor Grant Duncan writes about misleading poll reporting by Newshub following the recent Labour Party conference. Now, notice the angle that he's talking about, or the perspective he's talking about, is the poll reporting, not a misleading poll. It's how the poll is being reported. I'll read a bit of it to you, especially if you're on the audio podcast. On 6th of November, just as the Labour Party annual conference was wrapping, Newshub released the results of a Reid Research poll with a claim that, quote, Labour had dropped a whopping 5.9 points down to 32.3%, its lowest result since Jacinda Ardern took the helm of the Labour Party in 2017. While the poll result was certainly not good news for Labour, Newshub's take was misleading for a number of reasons. 32.3% is not the lowest poll result that Labour has had since Ardern became leader in 2017. That dubious honour possibly goes to a Roy Morgan poll in September that estimated Labour's support at 29.5%. Newshub further misled its audience by comparing Reid Research's November result with its previous poll back in late April that had Labour on 38.2%, which was relatively high compared to other polls at that time. Which is interesting, actually, because one of the things that was said the next day on the AM show, and I don't have this clip, but Ryan Bridge said very clearly to the Prime Minister, Newshub has always got the most accurate polling. And that was proven out at the last election, to which the Prime Minister had some kind of kickback saying, well, actually, she disputed that. And she said, you know, if you look at actually what happened on election night, that would dispute that as well. But anyway, that was the start of the article. Anything you want to throw in there before we keep going there, Chewy?
No, carry on.
Okay. The article goes on. Associate Professor Grant Duncan goes on. In fact, Labor had been polling in the range of roughly 30 to 35% for about 6 months since May. A poll result of 32.3 in November was a steady one and not a whopping drop. It wasn't even news for those who watch polls. Yep. The Reid Research results were reported without reference to the other published polls that could have provided some factual background. It wouldn't have been fair to say, it would have been fair to say that Labor had another disappointing poll result, but Newshub's whopping drop, quote unquote, was deliberately overhyped for the 6 p.m. news, knowing that it was raining on Labor's parade at the end of the party conference. Now, I'm reading into this a little bit. I maybe we'll try and get Associate Professor Duncan on next week. But when he says, knowing it was raining on Labor's parade, that says to me a conscious decision to paint a negative light. Because if you know, like Chewy, you've got a party this weekend, right? And I want to affect your party and make it worse, then I do something knowing it's going to rain on your parade. You know what I'm saying? So that's to me how I read that. One of the most important quotes of this is the associate professor says, the job of political reporters is to tell us the facts and to give us some critical context to current events and opinion polls. Newshub, I argue, overstepped the mark on 6 November with a narrative that was biased against one political party. Its use of opinion polling was less than responsible. Look like you were about to say something there, Chewy, if I cut you short. Look,
I was going to say, this is something that has been creeping in more and more. And certainly Newshub seems to be a main offender here. But whenever a poll result comes out, they're like, this huge earth-shaking fucking result, we're not going to give it any context at all, but we are going to tell you that it's the worst result ever, or there's been a massive drop, or national and act, and this guy called Steve down the road and a plastic dinosaur can lead and form a government. And it's just for someone like myself that follows politics a lot, it's so dishonest, and it's just infuriating. And when there is so much criticism of political journalists, and with everything that we've had going on in the last 2 years, integrity is really key.
Yeah.
Like, I noticed that there's specific political reporters copping a lot of flack, and I'll be honest, I haven't dug in to see whether it's deserved or not, but Much Mackay is getting a lot of flack for apparent National Party links or something like that. But when we're going after specific political reporters for the way that they phrase poll results and that sort of thing, that does not give me a lot of hope going into an election year that people are going to be given good information.
Yeah,
and look, and we've seen in other countries how bad that can go.
I think that this is always a conversation with Fox News when they try and point to their stable of opinion voices, and they go, but they're not news, they're opinion. And that's fine, that's all well and good. But then what the counterpoint to that for Fox News is, but it's all the opinion guys on your banners, on your billboards.
Yeah.
So you say they're the opinion guys, you're a news channel, but the only people you advertise are the opinion guys. Now, I have no problems. I mean, it's literally what we do. I have no problems with opinion people, but I guess what the professor is saying is if you are a political reporter, that's not really a place for opinion. That's more of a place for disseminating the facts to the public, unless the political reporter has some kind of addendum or hash opinion op-ed writer as well. So know that they have a thing. And look, I have to tell you, for it's Jenna Lynch, isn't it, on Newshub? I don't know her. I don't have anything to say about her per se, but there are some people who are criticizing her perspective this week. And it's interesting that a bunch on the right are coming out to defend her perspective. And one of the reasons is her partner is I think in the quite high up in the PR or press secretary area in the ACT party. And I'm not accusing her of that, but I have to say, if you're putting out political news with an opinion that appears to be pretty heavily weighted to the right, then those questions are going to be asked. Now, whether they're valid, I mean, the questions are valid, whether it's accurate or not, I don't know, but it's a bit like when we talk about Labor not being good at messaging so people can drive their criticism through the middle of it. I can see a connection, and it will be interesting to see how Jenna Lynch continues on with this. Now, I'll tell you what I've done. Let's just finish this, then I'll tell you what I've done today. Remind me to tell you what I've done today, because I don't think it'll do anything, but I'll tell you what I've done. So the end of the article says all political reporters should ask critical questions about the validity of political polls. The polls that came out during the fortnight of advanced voting in 2020, for example, were overestimating National by an average of 5.8 percentage points compared with National's actual election result, 25.6% of the party vote. That was consistently outside the margins of error. So that's a really important thing to remember. Don't put your faith in them that they're accurate, but don't also put your faith in them that they're inaccurate. But in this instance, they were out by nearly 6%, and the margin of error is normally about 2.3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they were underestimating Labor by 3.7 votes, while the Greens and Māori parties were also underestimated by 1.1 and 0.7 points respectively, although that's definitely within margin of error, those last two. The opinion polls in New Zealand had consistently a conservative sample bias at that time, and I've seen no evidence that they've improved much since then. It's time we stop treating opinion polls as 6 p.m. news, and it's time that political reporters went back to reporting the facts in their context.
Golf clap. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, look, people have been talking about the conservative bias in political polls for ages, because how do they poll people? They call them up.
Yeah.
Call them on the phone. Who's going to pick up the phone? Are they calling landlines?
I can tell you I can tell you with Courier, because I wondered that as well. So I looked it up, and it was 1,000 people, 700 were contacted by phone, 300 online. That was how they carried out the polling for that. Now, it didn't specify landline or cell phone. I'm assuming in this day and age, they include cell phones, but certainly if it was landlines, I mean, honestly, who under 60 has a landline?
No one. And yeah, but I mean, if you got a call on your cell phone from an unknown number at dinner time, how likely are you to answer it?
Yep. And also,
if you're
we talk
younger
about this
than us and don't use your phone for voice communications a lot anymore, why would you pick up the phone?
Yeah, my fucking 16-year-old won't answer my phone calls, and she goes, "I was with my friends. It's embarrassing." She doesn't pick up the phone, so that's not very far away from 23. She won't answer the phone if it's in if she's in the bus. Nothing. She'll text me back. She literally won't pick up the phone. I'm going to take her phone off her.
And that's the thing. So you need a better way of polling, because it's clearly not working if you're getting a 6% fucking error rate.
Yeah, it's true. It's also interesting that Winston Peters has long fought against the polls. And he's long said things like, for the month leading up to the election, polls should basically be illegal. But I think he's enjoying the polls at the moment, because he's using them quite a bit in his public statements, because they're talking Labor down. So it's one of these things that's, when it's convenient to you, you use those things. The other thing that we've covered off this week, and I'll explain what I've done today shortly, is it's not just see, I'm one of those people, Chewy, that when I'm I used to do acting, played 3 different characters on Shortland Street. The funniest thing that ever happened to me was my little sister-in-law used to be a huge fan of Shortland Street, and she used to watch the repeats at 10 in the morning on TVNZ, and then the live ones at 7 o'clock at night. There was apparently, I didn't know this, but there was apparently one day where one of my characters played at the 10 a.m. show, and that was I think a moving guy or something, and then another one of my characters played in the evening show on the same day. Merv, the security guard Merv, look me up. Anyway, I used to, when you walk away from, you might appreciate this, Joe, you walk away from a from an audition, you go, I could have done that better. I missed this and I missed this. And I quite often find that sometimes when I'm doing this, I get off and I finish and I go, oh yeah, that's another angle. What I like about doing clips and putting up stuff, it gives me a chance to sometimes write up something that I might have missed when I was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this, and this follows on from this academics talk of bias. Yeah. We talked about this clip, this story during the week, right?
Oh yes, yeah. That
Where
was
Newshub's headline was "Deceitful Dictator, Arrogant Smarmy," right? And then we showed, and I've released this as a clip, so this is a thumbnail for the clip. Then we showed where the word deceitful was, which is in that green. So TV3 Newshub has chosen to lead as their headline the word deceitful and dictator, and not actually lead as the words caring and good, which are actually the words that most people associate with the prime minister. Now, what I realized, and I mean, this is not like no one's going to be amazed by this, but when I worded it like this when I was writing up for the clip, I was like, that feels different. And this is how I said it. Someone had to make an editorial decision, right? Someone at Newshub had to make an editorial decision to put deceitful dictator as their headline.
Yeah.
And that speaks to this bias, in my opinion, that we're talking about. The Monday morning conversation between Ryan Bridge and the Prime Minister, it was very obvious to me, and you can look at the clip online, we've put it up, that he has just stopped even pretending how vile he feels about the Labour Party. But when I thought about it and wrote up for the clip, and I wrote up an editorial decision, I sat back and I went, holy shit, that's true. Whether that was it probably wasn't the journalist, it could have been a sub-editor, it could have been the editor. Someone had to actively say, you know that little tiny word that not many people associated with the Prime Minister, well, we're going to make it the headline. So what I did today was I actually contacted the head of news for Newshub, and I said, I would like to know the number of people that listed the Prime Minister as deceitful and a dictator out of your polling. Could you please tell me the number of people? Because imagine if it's one.
Yeah.
Imagine if that word cloud was one person said deceitful and one person said dictator, and that becomes their headline. And then fucking Mike McRoberts, I've got Mike's, I know Mike a little bit. I'm going to message him and go, do you realize what you read in the teleprompter that night? And how and I'm not going to accuse him of doing it because he doesn't write the copy, but are you realizing how absolutely misleading that is for you guys to be reading out deceitful dictator, evil, when actually that was the accurate thing you should have been saying was most New Zealanders think the Prime Minister is caring and good, according to your own fucking research. When I saw that article from the academic talking about the way that the political journalist reporter is being biased, I'm like, it's not just a political journalist. Something's happening at Newshub.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. And I mean, Newshub has actually, no, I think it, no, I was going to say there are some good people at Newshub. I'm thinking of people at Newsroom, which is completely different. But yeah, it's, again, going into an election year, I just want them to do better. I want to see some good analysis, and it's not happening. It's not happening with them.
Well, funny you should say that, Chewy. If you want to see some good analysis, you can
for
get
just
behind
$8 a month.
For just $8 a month, you can join the fuel level. It's the fuck you, Elon Musk. Is his name? That doesn't sound right.
That was again.
It's the fuck you, Elon level. Oh, fuel. Sorry, I knew that. Sorry, Peter, I got it wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can help support good commentary. I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. If you want to jump on board, but yeah, look, I was intrigued to see, because sometimes, Chewy, you'll appreciate this. You just feel a bit like a clanging cymbal. You're throwing things out there, and then you read one comment on YouTube, and it goes, "What a fucking load of shit this is!" And even that makes you kind of go, Am I seeing this like other people are? And then an academic goes, Newshub looks really biased.
Actually, yeah.
And you're like, okay, so maybe we're on the right path here. And I saw, who was it? I want to say David Farrer. It might not have been David Farrer. Maybe it was Karen. For those new with us, Karen Plunkett, talking about, I don't have one concern about Jenna Lynch being married to or partnering the guy from ACT, whatever his name is. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be interesting to keep watching that, because I don't have a concern about that either, unless it continues to appear or prove to be a position of bias, or if it doesn't turn into an opinion type conversation.
I just want to chuck up a comment from the chat. I think this is an interesting point, and just on generally, what do we think about opinion polls?
Yeah.
Okay. So McMahon here says the only point of any poll is to sway opinions. Now, I don't know how I feel about that for myself, but I can definitely see that could be a point with some voters. Like, do you think that there's people out there that kind of treat an election like a sports game? You want to vote for the winner.
Possibly, yeah. I don't agree. I don't agree with McMahon, by the way.
Yeah.
Because McMahon,
I just think it's an interesting point, right? Because certainly seeing an opinion poll doesn't sway my opinion, but I know.
No. Okay. Well, this is what I think. Right. The first thing, the reason I don't agree with McMahon is mostly with, where can I do it? That word about the only point of any poll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you said a point of polls is to I would agree with that. I mean, it does also, but it's not the only point, because if that was the case, then people would never release polls where the opinion perhaps said the opposite from what they wanted to sway people with. I think the reality is opinion polls do sway opinions, but I don't think it's the only point. And it can sway opinions both ways. I think you're right, Joey. I think if you want to be on the side that wins, but also if it was going the other way, I mean, to be honest with you, I wonder if one of the reasons Labor did so well last time around and National did so poorly is a bunch of National voters went, what's the point? Have you seen the polls? So it can actually do it the other way as well.
That was the other point I was going to make. If the poll results are showing that your preferred party is going to romp home, well, then you might as well stay home on Saturday. You don't need to go in, and it might motivate the other guys to go, oh shit, actually I've got to really get down because the poll results aren't looking great. So there's a lot of ways that it can affect how people are going to vote.
That's probably more relevant, and I'm thinking about America as well. Like think about California, that's completely Democratic, or the places that are through and through, like your vote's almost worthless. Or like if you're in Mount Albert, that's been Labor for a million years. National Party people voting in Mount Albert, probably there's no point. I don't know if that's such the case on the national level, because it always seems to be pretty close. But look, I think opinions do and can sway people. I think my only difference is with Mick, it's not the only point of them. And I don't know if that's the reason news agencies do them. Could be the reason that, you think about lobby groups and that kind of stuff, that you can always tailor a result based on the question. Yeah. Oh, look, people are giving us grief now about our 2 ticks. Look, do you get 2 ticks for $15 per month? Sheesh, well, I'm gonna have to go.
No, we're doing 2 ticks for $8, because you get twice as many ticks as you do on.
What happens if? How about I do this?
Hang on, the inflation on this has gone crazy.
Yeah, but I don't want people to then go, I'm $15. I'm going to drop to $8. I'm gonna. You know what I should do? This is what I'll do.
Meet the market.
No, I'll go put a limited number $8 ones on there. Like I'll make it 20. You can only have 20. Like, because you can put a limited number of people who are doing that. I'll put a limited number of $8 ones on.
This feels like we're doing better business than Elon, and we're making it on the fly.
Well, except we don't have no one signed up tonight for the $8 a month one, so he's at least had libs of TikTok.
See, our chats all talk.
Anyway, how do I get 4 ticks? Oh, fucking hell. You sign your wife up as well. And you can share them.
Maybe we can make these somehow tradable. You can trade ticks amongst you, and who ended up with the most ticks at the end wins.
I'm just going to do this for that. Who was it?
I believe I've done that. I think I got the right article.
Have you got it in there?
Yeah.
Have you done that link already? Have you? Oh no, the Newshub one. Is that the one that they wanted, or do they want the one that I was?
Well,
talking about.
if you've got it handy, put it up there because I'm not 100% sure whether it was
Okay,
the
I'll just
the
put
right
this
one.
in there as well. Hey, I'm proud of you tonight because you didn't post something there and put all my names all over it. Well done, you.
Oh, that's because I'm doing it through YouTube.
You're a big boy. Well done.
Because you don't like it when I pretend to be you.
Yeah, but I see. I've just done it from StreamYard, and I haven't done it because you just change it. Just make it not all. There you go. That's the link to the professor. There you go. I've just put it in. So
Yeah, cool.
So
No,
the professor
no
is
worries.
in there as well. All right. I mean, yeah. I think if Donald Trump has taught us anything, and probably the last election, if you look at those numbers being so, 6% out for national. If the polls have taught us anything, is fuck the polls. Vote, 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 vote. Always vote. Never have a reason not to vote. Always vote and get out and vote. I think that's the lesson from polling. No matter what the poll says, vote, vote, vote. Voting, 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 voting. And especially under MMP, because even if your party does badly, they can potentially join with a party who does well, and then off you go. You've got a government. Or at least you've got a stronger opposition.
I mean, I said this a lot with the local body elections, is that it's really easy to spout off on social media and think that makes you politically engaged and you're invested in it, and then people don't vote or they don't talk to their friends and family, and they don't, maybe they make a decision on the day based on the latest poll or whatever. It's just, I see so many people go, oh, there's no point, when there very, very clearly is a point. I mean, you can hold up our COVID response, whatever you think of the COVID response, pro or con, but it would have been a very different response, I think, if Team Blue was in there.
Yeah, of
and
course.
We've seen what has happened in other countries with parties of that leaning. When it comes down to something big and important, the government makes a difference. And this is the system that we've got. Vote as if you were marginalized. Vote if you weren't part of a majority. Vote on behalf of someone else. Just bloody vote.
Well, the other thing is, now that we've seen a government, albeit, and I said this on day one, they're going to waste the majority. The other reason to vote, even if your side wins, is to potentially stop one party getting a majority. Like, even if your party is not going to be the government, if you are someone who, like, for example, wouldn't want National to have all power, then you want to get your left side up as high as you can, or vice versa. Although, because I sit on the left, I think it was great that Labor had all power, and I'm fucking annoyed they wasted it.
Yeah. And look, we've all got local MPs and that sort of thing, and fucking tell them what you think. Send in an email. A good friend of mine who works in early childhood hammered out an amazing letter to all the local MPs last election, going, here are the things that I am concerned about as an early childhood teacher. I want to talk about the education centre and how much we get paid and what support we get and how important this is for the other parts of education that you concentrate on more. At primary and secondary, you are setting kids up for this. This is why it's important. It was an amazing letter. He put a lot of thought into it. He put a lot of passion into it. And then over the next couple of weeks, he posted up the responses that he got from people. He got a form letter from National. He got a form reply from Labor. He got a reply from, I think, the Green Party that was just basically like acknowledging half the things that he said and then went off on a tangent. And it's just like, you don't let him off with this. Don't send me a form letter. Fuck you. I spent an hour and a half writing this letter. You're going to send me a form letter? No. They are the local representatives of the political party. If you're not happy with what's going on, you tell them. You reach out and you tell them.
People have mentioned the Courier poll that was apparently out today. I hadn't seen this, but I just went and found it super quick. And it's got, we're talking about Labor at the moment on 32. It's got 35%. It's still got National in the lead. National 38%. and I think it said ACT somewhere on 10, up 1. The result would give the right 62 seats, enough to form a government. Labour was on 35%, up 1 point, while the Greens were on 8%, up 1 point. This would give them 56 seats. Te Pāti Māori was steady on 2. New Zealand First hitting 4%, up 2 points. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's why, and maybe it is David Farrer's group always, on Kiwi Blog, always has the poll of polls. And the poll of polls is always a good thing to look at because what it does is it takes the average of all of them. Yeah. Here's the thing with last comment to Mick. I actually respect people. Like, I don't buy into that. If you don't vote, you can't participate, you can't complain. I reject that wholeheartedly, because I know people as well, and Mick, you might be one of them, you might not be, who have good, thought out, concise reasons as to why they will not. People who just sit on the couch and can't be asked getting off the seat to go and do it, I have trouble with them. But there are people who have ideological reasons, I mean, potentially religious reasons, or they just can't bring themselves to vote for any one particular group. I think that's as valid as a vote. I would still personally like to see what happens in Australia, which is it's you must vote. Like, it's illegal not to vote in Australia. But if I was to see that, what I'd want to see is on the ballot, none of the above. So therefore, someone like Mick would still have to go and vote, or would have to vote on their phone or whatever, but they could tick none of the above. So they could also go, you're a bunch of liars. So if I was going to put something in place, it would be that voting became
I think that's what Twitter's
compulsory. Not for much longer.
To reach out and say you're a liar. But I mean, there's a lot of things in this world that you don't get a lot of say in, or that sort of thing. This is just one little thing, and I think to be able to turn around to some of these guys and go, hey, I'm a constituent, you want my vote, I want this, I want to call you on your bullshit. The amount of emails I've sent to Michael Woodhouse here in Dunedin just going, your behavior is atrocious. You're nominally supposed to represent the people of Dunedin, and you don't. And he's on the opposite political spectrum for me. I'll never vote for the guy. But, that little shred of power that I've got there is like, at least someone's going to see this fucking email.
Yeah.
That, it's something. It's not the best system. It's what we've got. And if you don't vote, it's guaranteed that someone on the opposite side of what you believe in is quite happy to vote for some horrible... what's the joke? I'm voting for the leopards eating faces party. I never thought they'd eat my face. Yeah.
A big thanks to Rob. Rob, who was already a patron, has decided to up his $5 Patreon to $8. So there you go. Thanks, Rob.
Oh, now I'm going to have to print out that tick and mail it to him.
I'll figure it out. I'll design something up this weekend, a double tick. And maybe everyone who's let's do it this way. We'll make this public. Everyone who's a patron by the end of the weekend will get a double tick something, right? Like I'll design something. And from this point onwards, new patrons will only get the double tick thing if they join the $8 one, which is the double tick, which is is basically saying, you'll be verified with us if you're on $8. So if you're already with us, as a thanks, we'll give you the verified double blue tick, because we're twice as good as Twitter. And from from Monday morning onwards, only people who sign up for the $8 one will get it.
This is got well out of control.
It has.
Rob Burney is, of course, a crypto bro. He suggested make the ticks NFTs so we can buy and sell them with crypto.
That means they all have to be unique.
I had to verbalize that. I had to say crypto, which makes me feel yucky. Which is why I'm glad that young Cookie Nick here has a cream for removing ticks. Maybe you should send that to Elon.
All right. All right. I think we're done for today. Hey,
yeah.
Lovely to be with you, Chewy. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Remember, although we are joking a little bit around the Patreon, if you want to go check it out, patreon.com/Big Hairy News. But the other thing is, if you don't and you can't and you just don't want to, whatever, that's all good as well. The way you can support us is to #share our shit. Tell people about us. Be our advocates. Say who we are and what we're doing. If you've enjoyed any of the commentary, use it, abuse it, sell it as your own, and then say, oh, actually, the Big Hairy News, you should check it out. be our advocates, tell people about us, and that's as valid, if not more, for actually helping us grow this thing and get out there. We'll see what happens, but we're looking forward to that. I was just starting to think about Christmas as well, Chewy. I think probably through Christmas. Actually, I told them last night, Chewy, that I'm doing a bunch of shifts on Today FM through that Christmas period. And I think I might talk to the boss, and I might say to him, because I might do them from this studio. I haven't decided that yet, but if I do, I might live stream them.
Oh yeah.
And then I won't be doing BHN during the summer period. Like I'll probably take a couple of weeks off. But if I live stream my Today FM shows as well as doing broadcasting the Today FM shows, then it could be BHN content for people who are missing us during the summer, perhaps, and we can still hang out in the chat.
I thought you were going to go on a really weird Christmas tangent of like, you know how you don't want to bring up politics during Christmas dinner. Just put us on in the background and we'll do it for you.
Yes.
We'll ruin your Christmas dinner and get you in a fight with your uncle. That's what we'll do.
All right, guys. There's no it's a public holiday today in Canterbury, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
I was thinking there's nothing going on next week. I think we're back Monday. I think that's the normal on. What time will those shows be on? Lady Power, stay tuned. I'll let you know more. If you want to know more about it, it's really easy to follow me on Twitter as well. But basically, I think they've booked me in for 8 shifts, sort of afternoon shifts. I think starting from the 1st of January through, there might be some in that Christmas week as well. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm doing some work with Today FM. The boss there was my old boss at ZB. And we're gonna do some stuff together. It's gonna be fun, and I will appreciate everybody being involved as much as they can and filling up those, because talkback is it's a tough animal doing talkback over summertime when no one's listening and people are at the beach. But we'll give it a crack.
I will certainly be out of cell phone contact down in I think the Catlins. I'm going.
You can put on voices though, eh? Chewy, good morning or good afternoon, and then
hello, Patthew. First time caller, long time listener.
Wookie.
Anyway, that young stud Winston Peters is going to go all the way to the top this year.
And I think I'm talking to Han. Han, are you there? Yes. Luke.
Hello.
Luke, is that Luke? All right, guys. Have a good weekend. Be safe, everybody. And we will talk to you on Monday night with another edition of BHN at 10 p.m. We'll catch you then. Stay safe. Hooroo, everybody. Hooroo.